My friend, you may have walked through long seasons of confusion, years that broke your spirit, days that felt stolen, moments that made you wonder if God still remembered your name. You've carried dreams that faded, hopes that slipped through your fingers, and prayers that seemed to echo into silence. But hear this divine word deep in your spirit today. God is about to redeem every moment you thought was lost. Every tear you cried in secret, every disappointment you buried, every door that closed before you, none of it was wasted. Heaven kept record of every second. What felt like delay was actually divine development. What looked like loss was preparation for restoration. God never forgets what pain tried to erase. You see, what we call wasted years, God calls waiting years. What you call failure, He calls foundation. What you call broken, He calls being built. There comes a moment in every believer's life when God says, enough. Enough of surviving. Enough of mourning what was. Enough of living beneath what He promised. That moment is now. You are standing at the edge of divine recovery. The same God who created time does not bow to it. He rules over it. He can do in 1 year what would have taken you 20. He can compress decades of delay into one moment of divine acceleration. He can rewrite the years that pain tried to erase and turn them into years of overflow and joy. So don't mourn the time that's gone. God doesn't rewind the past. He redeems it. He transforms it. He multiplies it. When He restores, He doesn't return things to how they were. He makes them better than they've ever been. You may not understand why certain seasons broke you, why you lost that job, why that relationship ended, why that dream fell apart. But God says, I allowed what hurt you to prepare what's coming next. You couldn't see it then, but every tear was watering a seed of destiny. Every lonely night was shaping your strength. Every disappointment was birthing divine alignment. And now what you thought was over is about to begin again. The silence of God was never His absence. It was His strategy. He's been behind the scenes, aligning people, opportunities, and moments you don't even see yet. The same hand that allowed the wilderness is now preparing the promised land. The same God who watched you cry is about to make those same places echo with laughter. When God restores, He doesn't ask permission. He speaks and creation responds. He declares and heaven moves. The people who mocked your downfall will have to witness your rise. The places that once represented pain will become platforms of testimony. Listen, your story isn't over. It's being rewritten by the author of time Himself. And when God rewrites, He doesn't begin where you stopped. He begins where you should have been if nothing had ever been lost. That's divine compensation. That's the restoration of years, not just moments. Maybe you're saying, I'm too old. I've missed my chance. But God says, I restore years, not youth. I redeem time, not talent. I am not bound by what you've lost. He can take 20 years of wandering and turn them into 1 year of acceleration. He can make people remember your name who once forgot it. He can open doors that have been locked for decades. Every closed door was divine protection. Every rejection was redirection. Every delay was preparation. God was not denying you, He was developing you. Because He will never give you a blessing that your character cannot carry. He will never release what your foundation cannot sustain. That's why the waiting was long. That's why the silence was heavy. But the preparation is now complete. The season of restoration has arrived. There's a sound rising in the spirit, the sound of chains breaking, the sound of tears turning into songs, the sound of dry ground bursting with new life. Heaven is moving on your behalf. This restoration will not come quietly. It will be visible. The same people who saw your pain will see your promotion. The same ground that felt barren will bloom again. God is about to make your restoration a public testimony of His faithfulness. But hear me, restoration doesn't begin with what God gives you. It begins with what God awakens in you. Before He restores your finances, He restores your faith. Before He brings opportunities, He revives your courage. Because faith is the key that unlocks recovery. You cannot receive what you no longer believe is possible. So lift your faith again. Speak life again. Dream again. Align your words with God's word. Stop rehearsing your pain and start prophesying your purpose. Stop focusing on who left and start thanking God for who's about to arrive. Restoration begins with release. You cannot embrace the new while clinging to the old. Let go of what broke you. Hand over your regrets, your fears, your disappointments. God cannot fill a closed hand. Some of you think your life is too broken to be rebuilt. But the God who creates beauty from ashes is not intimidated by the fragments of your story. Restoration is not gluing the pieces together, it's creating something new from what was shattered. The cracks in your story are where His light shines through. The pain was not punishment, it was positioning. The loss was not random, it was redirection. God allowed certain doors to close because they were too small for where He's taking you. Some people had to walk away because they couldn't walk where you're going. Nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the silence, not even your mistakes. Everything that felt like loss is about to become part of the masterpiece God is painting with your life. And when restoration comes, it will come with peace. You won't have to chase what once ran from you. You won't need to fight for what's already yours. The doors that once refused to open will swing wide with ease. The same places that rejected you will now receive you. Because when God restores, He restores order. So rise up, shake off the dust of your past. Lift your head. The years you call wasted were actually years of preparation. God was planting roots deep beneath the surface so that when the fruit appears, it will be unshakable. Do not fear what's ahead. The God who holds your future has already redeemed your past. The time of weeping is over. The season of restoration is here. Soon you will say, "Now I understand why it took so long." You'll look back and see how every tear watered a miracle, how every delay built endurance, and how every heartbreak made room for divine glory. When God restores, nothing is missing, nothing broken, nothing wasted. You will not just recover, you will overflow. You will stand in awe of how He took your pain and turned it into purpose, how He took your wilderness and turned it into a garden. This is your moment of divine recovery. Heaven is breathing on your life again. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," is speaking over your destiny right now. Let there be restoration. And when He speaks, everything changes. So declare it with faith. My time is not lost. My destiny is not delayed. My years are being restored by the hand of God. And as you speak it, believe it. Because what you declare in faith, God establishes in reality. The story of your life is not ending in loss, it's rising in restoration. You will not end in pain, you will end in power. You will not finish in emptiness, you will finish in overflow. This is not the end. It is the beginning of everything God promised. Your restoration starts now.